God is good. And all the time. My dear friends, today, the 27th Sunday in ordinary time, our prayer should be, Lord, increase our faith. Lord, increase our faith. There was this man who was falling down a mountain cliff. As he was falling halfway the fall, he managed to grab onto a branch of a tree. He tried to climb up, but he couldn't, so he was just dangling down the tree. And then he looked down. He realized that if he let go of this branch, he's going to fall to his death. So he had this brilliant idea. He looked up to heaven and then shouted, "Is anyone up there?" Then a voice came, "Yes, I am here. I am the Lord. Do you believe in me?" This man shouted back, "Yes, I believe in you. I trust in you. I have faith in you. Lord, please save me. Help me." The Lord replied, "If you believe in me, there is nothing to worry. Now, let go of the branch." This man thought for a while and then he shouted back, "Is there anyone else up there?" My dear friends, is this man a believer? Yes. Does he believe in God? Yes, he believes in God. Does he believe that God exists? Yes, he believes that God exists. Does he believe God can answer his prayers? Yes, he does. Does he believe in prayers? He does. He even prayed. If he claims he believes in God, why didn't he let go of the branch when the Lord asked him to? This is God, oh. Why didn't he let go of the branch? Why didn't he heed to the voice of the Lord? My dear friends, we may be laughing at this man, but we are just like this man. We claim we believe in God, we trust in God, we believe in prayers, we know the Lord answers our prayers, but when life becomes difficult, when we are faced with the uncertainties of life, we want to have our own way. We don't want to listen to the voice of God. We say we believe, but we have little faith. Look at the apostles of Jesus. They walked with Jesus. They were with him all along. But when he needed them the most, they ran away. They were nowhere to be found. So my dear friends, today our prayer should be, Lord, increase our faith. And today we are giving 3 beautiful readings. Our first reading is from the prophet Habakkuk. He's one of the lesser prophets, so we don't really hear about him. Now, Habakkuk lived in the time where the people of Israel were in Babylonian exile. The Babylonians have conquered Jerusalem and they were in exile. Habakkuk saw how the people of Israel were suffering and he couldn't take it any longer. So he cried to the Lord. For Habakkuk, he knew that the people of Israel were God's chosen people. God even said, "I will be your God, you are my people." So they saw themselves as God's chosen people. How can God's chosen people go through such difficulties? How can they go through such pain? How can they go through what they are going through now? Habakkuk couldn't understand. So today he would say, "How long, O Lord, will I cry to you for help, but you will not listen? There is violence everywhere, yet you will not intervene." It was like seeing a policeman there and there's a crime going on there and the policeman is doing nothing about it. That was the frustration of Habakkuk. And I believe the frustration of Habakkuk may also be our own frustration. Sometimes we look at our lives and we begin to ask God, why? What have I done to you? What at all have I done wrong? Why me? It seems as if God does not want to listen to us. As if we pray and the Lord will not hear. You are looking for a partner. You've been praying for so many years. You think you are growing so old, and the Lord seems not to answer. The Lord may answer your prayers. You are married and there is no child. Praying for so many years. You conceive and then miscarriage. You conceive and then miscarriage. You don't know what is happening. You may have a child and your child is so stubborn, you don't even know what at all you did to God. You are searching for a school. You search, you don't get it. You are married and you don't even have good job to take care of your children. There's this chronic illness you are facing. You've prayed and prayed and prayed, and nothing seems to happen. Your husband has never fallen sick. He falls sick and then he's gone. You begin to ask yourself, God, why? What is happening? Are you not God? That was the cry of Habakkuk. He didn't really understand what was going on. God's chosen people, and look at how they are suffering in the hands of the Babylonians. And then the Lord would answer Habakkuk. He would tell him, take a scroll and write this prophecy down. The Lord asked Habakkuk to write it down for 3 reasons. 1, so that everybody would know that this is the prophecy the Lord is giving to the people of Israel. 2, so that even if you are not around and you are born later, you know that, yes, there was a prophecy, it is written down for everyone to see. And the 3rd one, because it is a prophecy, if it comes to pass, you will know that the Lord promised, and whatever he promised, he has fulfilled it. So that is why the Lord told Habakkuk to write it down. And this is what the Lord said. He told Habakkuk, I am still God. I will answer your prayers. It may seem as if I am keeping long, but if you wait, you will see my glory being manifested. The Lord was telling Habakkuk to be patient and wait on the Lord. My dear friends, most of us are not patient with God. And more importantly, we forget the many things the Lord does for us. This is Habakkuk, a prophet. He had forgotten that the Lord delivered the people of Israel from Egypt. He has forgotten that God had to send Moses to Pharaoh. He had forgotten that they had to go through 10 plagues. Even the firstborns of the Egyptians had to die. He had forgotten that when they were escaping, they had to cross the Red Sea. It was impossible. But the Lord opened the Red Sea for them to pass through. He has forgotten. He has forgotten that when they were in the desert, the Lord was a pillar of cloud by day and a pillar of fire by night, protecting the people of Israel. He had forgotten that the Lord fed them in the desert where there was no food. He gave them manna to eat. They even wanted meat. The Lord gave it to them. He had forgotten that God gave them water to drink. All these, Habakkuk had forgotten. And I am sure the people of Israel, they had forgotten. My dear friends, we also forget the many things the Lord does for us. We sleep, we wake up, we think it's normal. We are complaining about God. You have food to eat. You are forgotten. You are complaining. Go to the streets and see. People are hungry. They don't have food to eat. You have a place to sleep and you even snore and you are complaining. It is raining. Some people don't have a place to put their heads. You are complaining because you only have one shoe. What about the person who doesn't even have a leg? You are complaining. We are all seated here beautifully in clothes. People do not even have a cloth to wear to come to church. We take things for granted. We forget about the things the Lord does for us. And one thing that seems is keeping long, we begin to complain. We begin to curse our stars. We think that God doesn't love us. If the Lord didn't love us, would he have done all these things for us? My dear friends, we are so ungrateful. We forget. And we are impatient. Today, the Lord will tell Habakkuk, I am still God. He is telling you, I am still God. If only you will be patient with me. And then he says something very beautiful. He said, the rash, one has no integrity. The one who is in a rush wants things quickly, you have no integrity. But the one who waits, that just man, because of his faith, he shall live. Our timetable is not God's timetable, my dear friends. Whatever he promises, he will fulfill because he is a covenant-keeping God. All he is asking of us is to be patient with him and to have faith in him. Let us not be like this man who was holding on to the branch. When things became difficult, he was still holding on to it. He was doing his own thing. Let us trust God completely, my dear friends, because he is the one who created us and he wants everything good for us. In his own time, my dear friends, he will make everything beautiful. In our second reading, we read from Paul's letter to Timothy. Paul was in prison, in chains, preparing to die. He was going to be executed. And in prison, he writes this beautiful letter to Timothy, a bishop, that he laid his hand on him to encourage Timothy. This is someone who is in prison, in chains. There is no hope for him. He knows he's going to die. But you see, even the joy that he has to even write a letter to encourage another person. My dear friends, when we are hit with the uncertainties of life, how do we react to them? Sometimes you see Christian and as if being a Christian is a punishment. They are always frowning. They come to church as if they are forced to be in church. We are supposed to be lively, my dear friends. Yes, there are uncertainties. Life is difficult. But there is God. Because our God still lives, there is hope for the future. Let us be encouraged by the attitude of Paul. Now he writes to Timothy and he says, fan into flames the gift that you have received. He encouraged Timothy to enkindle in him that gift that he has received. Photoshin will always say that we are God's chosen people, but sometimes we behave as if we are God's frozen people. We are frozen in whatever we do, even in our way of life, even in the way we forgive others, in the way we love one another, in the way that we give out money, in the way that we are charitable to others. Our whole life is as if we are frozen. My dear friends, we all have the gifts of the Holy Spirit. I always say you receive the gift when you were baptized. You receive the gift when you were confirmed. Probably you are not seeing your gift because you are looking for something else. You want to be shouting, jumping, praying in tongues and somersaulting. Then you know that yes, you have the gift. That is a lie. The greatest of all gifts, my dear friends, is love. We all have our individual gifts during baptism and during confirmation. Probably they are lying there dormant. Today we are called to fan into flame those gifts. That in faith, believing that we have a God who will take care of us, we will live life smiling, not because we don't have problems, but because we know that the Lord will see us through the most difficult moments of our life. In our gospel reading, the disciples of Jesus will come to Jesus and they would ask, Lord, increase our faith. Why would they ask God to increase their faith? This is the reason. When you read some few verses before this, that is the story of the rich man and Lazarus. For the Israelites, if you are rich, it is a sign of God's blessings. The Lord is blessing you. You are God's favorite son. If you are poor, it is a sign of punishment. You have sinned. So they don't understand why somebody who is blessed by God should go to hell, and someone who is not blessed by God should go to heaven. So that was one of their difficulties. Now, when you read downwards, Jesus would also address them and say that sin will surely happen, but woe to the one through whom that sin is committed. It is better a millstone is tied around the person's neck and thrown into the sea. They didn't really understand that. It was so difficult for them. Jesus will also continue. If your brother sins against you, forgive him or her. If he sins against you 7 times, forgive him or her 7 times, even without a reason. Forgive him. They didn't understand that because that is not what they know as Jews. So these were difficult teachings. They will come to Jesus, Lord, increase our faith. My dear friends, being a Christian is not easy. We all need to say this prayer every day for the Lord to increase our faith. When we see bad people always prospering, and you always come to church every day, you put in collection, you come and dance, the Lord is not answering your prayers. We need to ask God to increase our faith. And this is the answer the Lord gave to them. Very wonderful answer. He says, if your faith is as little as the mustard seed, the tiniest of all seeds, you can tell the mulberry tree to be uprooted. My dear friend, this tree has big roots deep in the ground. Uprooting that tree practically is impossible. And you are uprooting it where? Into the sea, filled with salt. to grow. It's not possible. So all that the Lord is saying is this: if your faith is as little as this, the impossible will become possible. Things that seems impossible in the sight of man, it is possible for God. It's not about the quantity of faith, my dear friends. It's about the quality of faith. And that is what the Lord is asking of each and every one of us. Just trust in the Lord. Have faith in Him. Even if you doubt, you just have a little bit of faith in Him, that He created you. He knows what you want, even when you think He doesn't. And He will surely answer your prayers at the appropriate time. He will continue to give them this wonderful parable of a servant who has gone to work, very tired, comes, and then he rather serves the master. After the master finishes eating, there he can eat. All that Jesus is saying is this: we should put things of God first, and all other things will be given to us if we believe and have faith in God. After we have done all that, my dear friends, we are useless servants. We have only done what our conduct deserves. Sometimes we think God owes us. Some people think God owes them. God, I've done A, B, C, D. It is now your turn to do your part. God, I've been faithful to you. I come early, I clean the pews of the church, I give money to the poor, I sow seed, I do this. God, it is now your turn to do your part. My dear friends, you don't owe God. You don't owe Him. It is our Christian duty to love one another. It is our Christian duty to play the part that you are playing on this earth. We are merely servants. That God will ask of us how we live the life that He has given to us. You do something, you are not praised. Oh, Father doesn't like me. I will not come to church again. I will not do this again. I did this, and when Father was mentioning the names of those recognized, He didn't mention my name. My dear friends, we are useless servants. We have only done what our conduct deserves. So, my dear friends, today's message is simple. We are called to pray for an increase in faith. I will end with this story of this little girl. There were three. They were playing this game of counting of money. So what they do is they will count their money, and the one with the highest money wins. So the first girl counted and she had 5 cedis. The second girl counted, she had 7 cedis. The last girl counted, she had 7 cedis, but she said 10 cedis. They said, this is 7 cedis. Why are you saying 10? Let's count it again. They counted, it was 7 cedis, but she said 10. And this is what she said. She said, my father has promised me 3 cedis. And anything my father promises, at the moment of the promise, it is mine. And this is the faith we are all called to have. The Lord has promised to be with us, to guide us through the difficult moments of our lives, and see us through to where He is. He will be faithful. He is asking us also, may the Lord increase our faith